The most powerful organization in sports is under fire. FIFA's credibility has already been dented by scandal, and football's world governing body is now being targeted by the U.S. Justice Department and the FBI. According to the New York Times, U.S. prosecutors will charge a number of current and former FIFA officials with corruption and accepting bribes related to World Cup bids and TV marketing deals over the past 2 decades. The arrests took place at this 5-star hotel in Zurich, where FIFA members had gathered ahead of an election on Friday, during which they were widely expected to give Sepp Blatter a 5th term as the organization's president. The New York Times said the 79-year-old was not being formally charged by U.S. officials, though he's been accused by others of turning a blind eye to years of corruption and wrongdoing. The paper did name Jack Warner, a former member of FIFA's executive committee, who's long been dogged by allegations of corruption. A native of Trinidad and Tobago, Warner ran FIFA's Caribbean, North and Central American Confederation for over 20 years. He resigned in 2011 after being accused of trying to buy votes. Under a bilateral agreement with the U.S., Swiss officials have the right to refuse to extradite people accused of tax crimes, but do allow extradition in issues of general criminal law. The U.S. charges will reportedly include wire fraud, racketeering, and money laundering. Swiss authorities say the football officials are implicated in bribes worth more than $100 million and that the payments were carried out through American banks.
Well, for the very latest on this story, let's bring in Clovis Casali. Clovis, what's the latest that you've been hearing so far?
Well, a statement from the Swiss justice has just been released, and it really sums up this whole case. These charges on alleged widespread corruption span for many, many years since the early 1990s. And according to the Swiss justice, well, the FBI is looking into allegations that very high-ranking FIFA officials received millions of dollars. We're talking at least $100 million since the 1990s from sports media and sports promotion firms in exchange for marketing and sponsorship rights in relation and connection with football tournaments in Latin America and in the US. Among those arrested, we've got, presumably, we understood to be detained, Jeffrey Webb, who's the current president of the CONCACAF, which is the football governing body, if you will, for North America, for Central America, and for the Caribbeans. And you also have one of his predecessors, Jack Warner, controversial figure, who's also been arrested, it seems, as well as a football figure of South America from Uruguay. So high-ranking FIFA officials, all detained. At least 6 were arrested in Zurich, possibly others in other parts of the world. And this FIFA case is the consequence of a FBI investigation that was launched months ago, years ago. And it seems that the FBI investigation was made possible thanks to a former FIFA executive, Chuck Blazer, who turned FBI informant, who wore a device at meetings with his FIFA colleagues. And that's how the FBI came to this conclusion, came to bring about this case, and it really is huge turmoil for the FIFA.
Now, you were talking about some of these top-level officials. What about at the very top, as Sepp Blatter, the head of FIFA? Is he targeted at all?
Well, there are suspicions, obviously, from observers, and it's been the case for years, but he's not been arrested. So he's not involved for the time being. Sepp Blatter's image is obviously tarnished because he's the president of FIFA. All these men who've been arrested are considered to be allies, people from his entourage. So, of course, if they've been arrested, indirectly, suspicions go towards him. But Sepp Blatter has not been arrested. Sepp Blatter is running for a 5th term as FIFA president. The election was set for Friday, but how can this election take place given the term or given these arrests with the arrest of high-ranking FIFA officials who were set to vote in this election, where Sepp Blatter was truly the favourite to win for his re-election?
All right, Clovis Casali, thank you so much for that. And there will be a press conference being given by FIFA shortly within the hour, and we'll be bringing that for you here live on France 24.